Hey, what's up, everyone? This week we're looking at the weekend wildcard slate for both Draftkings and Fanduel. Draftkings has a much nicer four-game slate in terms of the contests that they have. They have $1 million. They have a Millie Maker. Fanduel, they focused on the single day games a lot more, but I'll be touching on both of the full slates for both sites on this video. So let's get into it. You can drop a like and subscribe down below before we get started. You can follow me on Twitter at the DFS Process and yeah, let's get started here. Quarterback, Russell Wilson is your most expensive guy at 6,800. Ever since Carson and Penny have gone down, especially Penny, he's kind of struggled. In December, he didn't have the best month. I don't think he should be the highest priced quarterback. I kind of prefer Drew Brees at home. I really prefer Drew Brees at home at 66. I prefer Josh Allen at 6,500 just because it gives you that rushing upside, and it's so valuable for quarterbacks that can run. I like Watson, and I like Carson Wentz. So those are the four that I have interest in this week. Out of the four, I think Watson's probably my favorite, just at 6,400 at home. He's played really well at home this year. If you look at the games, 31 against Denver, 20, 29 against New England, 28, 44. Over the past couple weeks at home, he's really played well. And he also not afraid to take off with his legs, with 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. Those are the kind of quarterbacks I want, ones that give you upside. No way I'm going to be playing Tom Brady, a guy that doesn't run at all, on this kind of slate. So, yeah, Watson at home against Buffalo. It's a tough matchup, but I just think, he's played well in tough matchups this year, like against New England and some of these games. So I have no concern over the matchup. At running back, Henry, 8,200. If anybody can break the slate, it will be him. He's playing, a pretty good defense in New England. They're really good against the run, but he's going to get his touches. He got no targets at all, but he got 42 fantasy points. 32 carries for him. They really ran him into the ground after that Week 16 off. After he was missed Week 16, they gave him 32 carries. They can easily just ground and pound with him if they want to, but it's going to be tougher here. Houston rush defense is awful. I kind of prefer Dalvin Cook just because he's going to be involved in the passing game, and Kamara as well. But really, Miles Sanders is going to stick out to me at 6,200. Before he got hurt, he was crushing it against the Giants, and then he got hurt early in the game, and then Boston Scott came in and went off. And that hurt because I highlighted Sanders that week. Definitely could have been him that went out for 35 fantasy points. And if people aren't going to play him because they're worried about the injury, then I'll play him again. He is the lead back in this Eagles offense. Jordan Howard was back, but I don't know if he was very, very limited. He was very limited. He got no carries. Peterson said he's going to have a role, but they're not going to be able to give him like 10-plus carries just that way. And I don't think they want to. I think they want to get Sanders involved, and they have Boston Scott. So I think Jordan Howard will be good on short, 3rd-and-1 situations. But Sanders is going to be involved in the passing game, especially if Ertz is missing. If Ertz misses again, and he's going to get a lot of touches on the ground. So I like him at that price point. And then Devin Singletary, 6,000. He's taken over the lead back role for the Bills after in the midway point of the year, and he's been pretty productive, getting 20-plus touches a lot of the games recently. And we've seen teams just go off against this Houston defense. They're awful on the ground and in the air. Singletary doesn't have a ton of touchdown upside just because Josh Allen does like to punch it in when he's close to the goal line. But he's going to get some looks. He's going to get at least a handful of targets, which I like to see. He's at a really good price point, and he's really dynamic, so I expect him to really get all the opportunity unless he fumbles right out of the gate. He's going to be on the field a lot. I don't think Frank Gore is going to get a handful of touches, but I think they're going to focus on getting Singletary as involved as they can. Wide receiver, tough not to play Michael Thomas. He's at home against a very bad pass defense, especially the cornerbacks are awful. They've been surviving by playing some zone, but they're going to have to double Thomas. Even if through double teams, him and Breeze find a way to just go off every week, especially at home. He hasn't had a disappointing game at home this year. And yeah, he's going to probably be matched up against Xavier Rhodes, who actually has been one of the worst cornerbacks in the league this year. So he's nowhere near as good as he once was. Thomas, just tough not to play him. He has 30-point upside. But if you did want to like fade in for tournaments, you could easily play DeAndre Hopkins, who is one of the best wide receivers in the league. His matchup is tougher though against Buffalo, but I don't think he should be $1,600 cheaper than Thomas. I think, he should be $8,500. Thomas should be like 93 on DraftKings at least, and I don't think he's going to be too popular because it's tough to play both of those guys and pay out for a running back. The other guy I like here is DK Metcalf, 6,100. He's going to get a lot of targets. Russell Wilson can't really rely on the running game as much. Lynch was okay, but he's going to give them a handful of really good runs. He's not going to be able to do it on a full game basis. And Homer was fine as well, but really they're going to have to rely on Wilson's arm, especially in this matchup against Philly. They're really good against the ground, one of the best rush defenses in the league. So Seattle's going to have to throw the ball, and Metcalf is going to get a lot of looks. He also has been getting a lot more red zone looks as well with his size, and just going to provide a matchup nightmare for this Eagles defense. Their cornerbacks have also been up and down all year, but really the way to take advantage of them is with wide receivers, and especially a guy like Metcalf, who just has a huge mismatch against any cornerback of the Eagles. And then I also like John Brown at 6K, just really cheap for a number one wide receiver. He's been really good and consistent all year, a lot of double-digit games. And this defense is also pretty bad. I'm expecting kind of a high-scoring game here in Houston, in a dome. John Brown is going to get a lot of looks from Josh Allen. He is his favorite weapon. And we've seen teams beat Houston by throwing deep, and John Brown has a ton of speed. So coming off of a career year during the regular season, I think he can carry that into the postseason. And that with Will Fuller probably not playing, if he doesn't play, then I love Kenny Stills at 46, just really cheap. And you could look at Corey Davis just if you think A.J. Brown is going to get shut down by Gilmore as well. But really, I'm interested in Thomas, Hopkins. I don't mind like Diggs or Thielen, but then Brown, I like him, and Stills and Metcalf. Then I'll just touch on tight end here. At tight end, if Ertz is out, play Goddard. I don't mind Hollister at 4,300. You can play Jared Cook, but he's gotten it done with some huge games. On huge plays. He hasn't really gotten the targets. You're getting 2 to 4 targets. And out of the last 4 games, and he has 5 touchdowns. That's not really sustainable, but he's at an all right price point at 4,900. But Hollister is going to play a lot. He's okay, I would say, at 4,300. Jonnu Smith at 38. He's been fine as well. And then Fells would be really interesting, assuming Akins misses, because he's going to get almost all the tight end work. And he has 7 touchdowns. They do look to him in the red zone. So he's another guy that I would look, especially if Fuller's out, that's another weapon. And if Akins is out, then he should definitely be involved. And then at defense, Patriots are fine here. The Saints, don't mind the Eagles as well. And the Titans, I think, at 2,400 against New England. So that's what I'm liking for DraftKings. And then FanDuel's pretty similar. I'll just touch on it. Quarterback here, it's priced where, Breeze is priced at the top where he should be. Then you get Watson. Then you get Wilson. So DraftKings has Wilson up top, which I don't agree with. And then you have Carson Wentz, 79 at home. Josh Allen is also pretty appealing at 78. On this side, I like Carson Wentz and Watson. I think both are in play. Just based on the lineup that I had, I couldn't get up to Watson, $200, but I think Wentz is going to have a good game in his first playoff game as the Eagles. It's a good matchup for him, and he's played really well over the past couple weeks, especially at home. Then at running back, I like Sanders at 7K. I like Dalvin Cook at 8K. And then for value is Singletary at 6,200. But it'll be Miles Sanders, 7,000, and then Devin Singletary, same place I like on DraftKings, 62. And then wide receiver, Thomas and Hopkins are priced a little bit more closely here. So that's going to be even less ownership for Hopkins. But I kind of like this pricing on FanDuel with them being so closely priced. But it's going to be Michael Thomas for me. And then John Brown, 6,500 is still underpriced. And then Stills is priced up a little bit on FanDuel at 58. You get Metcalf for a couple hundred more. I like Metcalf at 62. So those are the core plays for me on both sides for this 4-game slate. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.